Christ Church Cathedral in Dublin, Ireland was built as a wooden church by the Viking king Sihtric Silkbeard around the year 1030. The Norman invader, Richard de Clare, also known as Strongbow, invaded Ireland in the late 1100s, rebuilding it in stone. Strongbow died in 1176 and was buried in a tomb that now sits in the church. Underneath Christ Church is the crypt, the oldest surviving structure in Dublin's city centre. The crypt extends under the entire length of the building, making it the largest crypt in Ireland. During the 16th and 17th centuries, the church's crypt was used as a market, a meeting place for business, and even as a pub. A letter from 1633 says, quote, "The vaults from one end of the minster to the other are made into tippling houses for beer, wine, and tobacco." The cathedral, as it exists today, has Victorian architecture due to the extensive restorations and renovations which took place in the late 1800s, at the expense of a Dublin whiskey distiller who gave £230,000, which would be £35 million today, to save the cathedral. In the late 1990s, a massive restoration of the 12th century crypt took place. The crypt now houses the important treasures of church exhibition. Among some of these artifacts are the stocks that were formerly situated in Christ Church Place. They were made in 1670 and used for the punishment of offenders, commonly having a basket of vegetables available for onlookers to pummel those accused. Shows filmed at Christ Church consist of The Tudors about Henry VIII and Reign about Mary, Queen of Scots.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back.
Hey everyone.
I'm Logan.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is Generation X Paranormal. Guys, this is episode 2 of many that are coming.
Of many.
that have to do with our Ireland adventure. I wouldn't call it a trip. It was an adventure.
It was definitely an adventure, yes.
But yeah, this is great. Actually, we've kind of had a good view of what you guys really liked the first episode. So hopefully we keep that going.
Yes. We'll try. We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try. But we've got a very interesting one. Christ Church Cathedral. And I think with this particular location, and I know we're going to get more into it. Now, we didn't necessarily do an investigation.
No, we did not. I don't think they even allow that.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if they did.
It would. It would, definitely. Yeah.
And we always want to, because this isn't the first church we've done. And we always want to try to maintain as much
respect.
Yeah, respect, and make sure we're not, desecrating anything. It's all very important to us, especially in this particular church, because there's so much there, which you're going to find out. It's more than just, a typical church. Having said that, we did want to include it because there is some really interesting and mysterious stuff with this place.
There is, and some definite personal experiences.
Yes.
Even though slight, they were still pretty impactful.
They were, and that's the thing, right, guys? Even with a great investigation, you can have all the recordings and all the evidence in the world, but sometimes it just comes down to those personal experiences.
The feelings.
The feelings
you get, yes.
But yeah, let's kind of peel the cap open and let's look at Christ Church Cathedral.
Right. So if you listen to the beginning, you got some of the history, which we'll dive into a little bit more of that here. But we're going to talk about the ghostly claims.
Right.
Now I could not find a lot, just probably because they're not spoke about very often. But these are the things that I found. So people hear knocks. Knocks are heard. People see orbs, or they say they get them in their pictures. Now, we know also with orbs, it could just be dust. It could be this or that. So
Yeah, the great orb conspiracy.
the great orb, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we're not going to bank too much on that, but
No.
Knox, and because of the cathedral, it's got all these huge like vaulted ceilings. So if you heard a knock, it would probably reverberate throughout the entire place.
Absolutely. Which, and that's kind of its design, right? You know,
Right.
when someone's up
choirs
on
and
right, or on the
sound.
pulpit, is that what it is? The
Yeah.
pulpit.
Well, I guess it is in a Catholic
Yeah,
church. I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know. But you know, when they're on there,
Yeah.
they want to project their voice, so it makes a lot of
Right.
sense that you're going to get, you know, these reverberations, like you said, and different types of things like that. It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Now, people also say that they see apparitions of
Mhm.
18th century monks in gray habits. Now, if you don't know what a habit is, it's the garb basically that they wear. You know, it almost looks kind of like a dress with the hood.
Right.
That's what a
Jedis.
habit is.
Like kind of like a Jedi.
The nerdery, and you had to find its way in here
It was
somewhere.
going to come one way or another. Jedi was going to make it in when he said monks.
Right. Okay. But they say they see them walking along the pathways in the church.
Yeah.
And some they see disappear into the stone walls. So they're
Yeah.
like walking a path and just disappearing,
It's wild.
which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think residual probably was something like that.
I'm going to guess,
Yeah.
but you know, we can't
Yeah.
say for sure.
Yeah.
There's also an apparition of a woman in a veil that is said to be seen kneeling in prayer in the pew, and sometimes they hear her crying. Obviously, we don't necessarily know it's the same one, but they hear crying in the church.
Right.
But this is a place of worship,
Sure.
right? We know how energy sticks around, so funerals, masses, you know, anything like that. I mean, this church has been around forever.
Well, yeah. Was it
like
10
1,000 years?
Yeah.
You know, so there's been a lot of tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, and we don't even know what existed on that ground prior. You know.
Right.
We can only assume it has something to do with the church or the cathedral itself, but the reality of it is we don't necessarily know that either.
Right, and that can go for anywhere.
Right.
Now, in the crypt underneath the church, there's cold spots. So people feel cold spots and unexplained noises. So I don't know what the unexplained noises are, but probably just they can't find the source is going to be my guess of whatever they're hearing.
And that's tricky too, because that when we're going to talk a little bit, you're going to probably see some video of what it looks like. I could see where that could happen because you've got all these really interesting angles. You know, it's very compact.
Yeah,
and kind of
it's
claustrophobic.
windy. Yeah, like windy. Like you could definitely get lost in there.
Oh, I think I might actually have gotten lost once.
Yeah, but they got signs to make your way out, so that's good. So, but that's primarily what I found. Now there are a few more, but we're gonna wait for the actual stories for that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the baseline of what,
good
and it's kind
baseline.
of what you expect to hear in a church or see in a church, the monks and
Sure.
people crying. And I mean, that's energy of anguish, right? A lot of these places, like we've investigated the morgue, you know, the other churches, there's a lot of emotion there. So
Sure.
I'm not too surprised by those claims.
Yeah, by nature, that's its whole. I mean, that's really its whole existence is to have these sort of you know, these monumental, very cathartic experiences throughout somebody's life. So it only makes sense that when they pass, it could very well easily be part of that too.
Right. That the energy part of that sticks around.
Right.
So let's talk about Christ Church.
All right.
So we pull up in our lovely bus with our lovely driver, Ronan.
Yeah.
And he gets us as close as he can.
He really does, guys.
He did. And this sits right in the city center. And it's like not up on the hill or anything. I mean, there's buildings and cars and people walking all over the place. I mean, it sits, you know, the city has built up around this place. So it is right there in it, you know. So we have to walk a little bit to get to it.
And if you're an American, that adds a whole new layer. Well, maybe not just American, but anybody who comes from a country where the driver is on the left-hand side of the vehicle,
and
anybody who's traveled to Europe and those places where everybody sits on the right-hand side to drive, yeah, you got to be careful not to look the wrong way and get smacked by a car.
Yeah, that's true. We did have to think about that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you don't think about those things
really
necessarily,
don't.
right? Yeah. So we walk up and get inside the church, which we're going to show some of this video as we're speaking about it. So, we're walking and everybody's just like, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
And we're taking pictures and stuff. We walk in. And of course, there's a lot of other people taking tours
Sure.
while we're there. But you first walk in and it is just so expansive.
Yeah.
Like you look up, it's so tall. I don't even know how tall those ceilings are. And the lights coming in through the windows, and it's just beautiful.
And I think what's interesting too is that some of the pictures, some of the video you're going to see, it was under construction. So
yeah, at least on the outside.
Yeah,
from
on
what
the
we
outside.
Could tell. Mm-hmm.
So even going in, you didn't get an immediate. I mean, we got to see the side, and that was incredible. But with the construction, you don't really get that first initial whoa.
Right.
However, that's my thing, right?
Can't steal it.
That is my thing. But when you get in, it's your first walk in, and to your right is where the entrance is to the actual cathedral. And when you step foot in that thing, you're right. It's like, I mean,
awe.
Yeah, I mean, I have no other word other than awe.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at these just amazing architectural designs, and having studied art and having studied, some of how it had impacted architecture. My brain just going nuts, like, oh, that's Byzantine, or oh, that's all these different things that you're thinking about, and it's just like it really truly is something to see. Now you're going to see like I said, the video of it, but it just doesn't do it justice unless you're actually there.
Well, no, and that's what we want. We want people to go there and experience it themselves, because there's no way that we can sit here and describe it to you that's going to give it any justice whatsoever. It doesn't translate from video to actually being there. So
sure doesn't.
So yeah, we get in there, we assemble basically, and we have a lovely, lovely man, a tour guide, and I hope that I am not butchering his name, and
I don't think so.
If I am, I apologize, but Darug.
Yeah.
Was his name. Lived there, he gives these tours, and he was so much fun.
He's funny.
He's really funny.
Yeah.
He had so much history, so much information throughout the entire tour, which of course we're not going to show you all this. A lot of it is historical information.
Right.
But there, we've picked out some pieces here that are really interesting, I think, that people should definitely know about.
Oh, of course.
But there's so much more than what we're going to show you.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so we kind of start up. We're going to start with the upstairs part, like the main cathedral part of the church. Now, the first thing that I kind of noticed is there is these chairs. There's all these chairs lined up. And I'm like, what is that carving of? So, because in the top part of the chairs, there's all these little things. I'm like, I cannot tell if it's an animal or what it is, but they're called the Foxy Friars. So they kind of look like a fox.
They do.
Or like a Franciscan, like friar, like a monk. So it's like a mix between the two. So they're kind of like a caricature of a Franciscan monk. And they're really cute. And I just noticed it right off the bat. So we'll put the picture up here. But yeah, I just wanted to mention it because it was really cute. I'm like, it's kind of like a fun, everything in Ireland's fun. They're fun.
They are fun. And what's interesting too is that not only is it fun, but you can tell that it's made. I mean, I hate to say it the way it's going to sound, because I know in Ireland they had other stuff that was very manufactured and mass produced. But I feel like every time we ran into some place, it was like, oh, this was very specifically designed for this. And like everything's kind of got forethought in mind.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a huge tourist place, so of course they're going to do that too. But yeah, keep in mind, this is still pretty early in the game, so we're still pretty jet lagged. So running into this stuff, we're kind of like at first doing a double take. Well, what was that?
Yeah, I thought it was really, so I noticed it right off the bat.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I just wanted to mention that. But okay, so we're going to kind of talk about the upstairs part, like I said before. And when you first come in, where we kind of assembled to start our tour, and we happen to be right next to the strongbow, whatever you get, the sarcophagus or the effigy. And it's really big. So like to get an angle of it, to get a picture, I'll put the picture up here. But it's interesting because it wasn't the original one.
Right.
So in 1562, I believe, the nave roof vaulting of the church collapsed.
Right.
And it smashed his tomb, basically. So the one that you see now and the one that's in the picture here is a replacement, of course. So it's not the original one.
Right.
It would have been really cool to see.
It would have.
What the original one looked like.
And it's interesting too, because when you're walking around there, and he does really good at telling you this, but you can kind of see. He points out where the cathedral at the very top.
Yeah, how it's kind of off.
Yeah, it's got a little
Uh-huh.
small lean to it, and
Right.
that's when he said, "Well, that's where it caved in."
Yeah.
So,
Now, there is something that's said about his tomb. It is just said that his ghost guards his tomb.
which makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Now, could it be completely made up? Absolutely. But who knows? I don't know if people think they've seen him, but nobody really knows what he looks like necessarily.
Well,
So
no, I
there's
mean
no,
he's incredibly, incredibly old. We wouldn't have had
yeah,
pictures of it, but I mean,
a Norman.
right? It would make sense to me that if you're around and you have so much tragedy and so much success and all these different things that you have in your lifetime, there would be some attachment. This is just me. I'm projecting, right? I don't know for
Right.
sure.
Right.
But yeah, it would make sense. And you don't know that if people are watching this or looking and they're expecting to see it,
Mm-hmm.
could just being in that type of setting really kinda, I don't know, kinda lend you to have some eye matrixing or some pareidolia
Right.
where you
That's what
think
I'm
you're
saying.
seeing
They
it?
just
Yeah.
expect to see it because they know, that's his tomb. I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
But that's what's said. Now I'm gonna go kinda out of place of how we went on the tour, but we're
Mhm.
gonna stay on this floor and talk about the massive organ that's in the back of the church,
Right.
which when I say it's not like a little organ,
No.
right? This thing takes up, like, the whole wall. You can stand there and look, I don't even know how many feet up into the
Yeah, the
air, and it's
pipes are just
way up there.
huge.
It's so massive.
Yeah.
I cannot even imagine the sound that comes out of that thing.
No, and it would've been really cool to see it, but honestly, it probably would've blown us out of that building. I
Yeah.
mean, the pipes on this thing, you're like, I don't know, for me, I kept thinking of things like Phantom of the Opera or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
just like, the immense sound that came from that,
Mhm.
I mean, it makes sense why this thing would have so much residual and so much, like, just potential energy that would be there for these hauntings.
Right, right. Now there is a cute story. Well, I guess it's kinda cute
I mean, it's
and
cute
kinda
in a
not
morbid
cute.
way, but yeah.
Yeah, like a cute morbid story.
Yeah.
That so they have in the crypt, they actually in the crypt, they have a mummified corpse of a cat and a rat,
Right.
okay? Now, so according to the church lore, what they found at least, that they think the cat chased the rat into the pipe of an organ,
Mm.
and both of them became stuck and basically died there, right?
Right.
So when they were cleaning it out, they found these mummified remains and kept it. But what's interesting about this story is that James Joyce used both the cat and rat as a simile in his novel Finnegan's Wake.
Mhm.
And when he describes in the book, it's basically, quote, as stuck as that cat to that mouse in that tube of that Christ Church organ, end quote.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's
it's pretty interesting that it inspired something in that novel.
mhm. Well, I mean, it's incredibly well known,
Yes,
obviously. I mean,
yes.
this isn't I mean, it's not like you're just stumbling upon this. This is one of the things within that cathedral that is very, very well known. Most tourists know about it that go there.
Mhm.
And you get to actually see the mummified remains, which is, again, very interesting. But
Yeah, and you can actually see the whiskers on the cat
yeah, it's
still.
weird.
So it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
one of those where you see it, you're like, oh, how cool, and oh, he died.
it's sad. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But I think that's, I mean, from something modern, it came from that.
Right.
Yeah, I think they found them in the 1800s, if I remember right. That's when they were cleaning it out and found them.
In the grand scheme of things, in the age of the church, it's still relatively new.
Yeah.
I
Well, yeah,
mean, when you
yeah,
think about it.
it is. Now, the big one here in this area of the church, so we're walking around and there's, I mean, the whole place is
Are we getting to the
gorgeous.
heart of it?
We're getting Oh, oh, I'm sorry, people. Okay, so yes, we are getting to the heart of it. Oh, so there is a preserved heart, and it's in iron, basically, in the shape of a heart of St. Lawrence O'Toole. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this, there's a little story that happened very, very
Yeah,
recently.
extremely recent.
Well, at least it feels that way for us.
Hey, I wanna admit that it's recent because it would make me face things about myself I don't want to know.
Right. Right. It feels just like yesterday to us,
It
but
does.
yeah. So on the morning of March 4th of 2012, staff at Christ Church Cathedral made a shocking discovery. The preserved heart of St. Lawrence O'Toole, who is Dublin's 12th century patron saint, had been stolen.
Mm-mm-mm.
The 800-year-old relic had been kept in a wooden heart-shaped box, sealed within a small iron barred cage in the chapel of St. Laud. The thieves had likely hidden in the cathedral overnight before cutting through the iron bars. Bizarrely, they ignored valuable gold chalices and candlesticks in favor of the heart, which had no economic value.
Mm-hmm.
Before leaving, they lit 2 candles on the Trinity altar. The cathedral spokeswoman said, "It's completely bizarre. They didn't touch anything else. They specifically targeted this. They wanted the heart of St. Lawrence O'Toole."
Yeah.
Now, what's funny about this is 6 years later, in April of 2018, which isn't very long ago,
No.
police received a tip and recovered the heart undamaged from Dublin's Phoenix Park. Media reports suggested the thieves returned it because they believed it was cursed.
Damn right it is.
After several people close to them died of apparent heart attacks. The Irish Examiner reported the thieves feared the relic was responsible for the deaths of loved ones from apparent heart attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and what's interesting too is it's a heart-shaped box.
Yeah.
How do you display? I mean, anybody who sees it, they're gonna know what the hell
Well,
it
I'm
is.
sure it was hidden somewhere. Yeah. Now, the heart was returned to the cathedral in a ceremony, and they placed it in a new shrine designed by Cork artist Owen Turner. No arrests were ever made in what became known as the Great Heart Heist.
That's a cool.
It is a cool little name.
Someday
Sounds like a James Bond movie.
There's going to be like a George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Ocean's 11 movie made of this thing,
Right.
And it's funny because when we're watching this, we're there. Those of you who are Nirvana fans, like I am, heart-shaped box for some reason kept playing in my mind because that's what it was a heart-shaped box.
Right. Now, this thing, obviously, if the heart was in there, that heart's gone at this point.
It's dust.
It's dust. Yeah, it's gone. But I mean, it has the spiritual significance, right? But as far as like paranormal is concerned, nobody's ever said that anything surrounded this or they haven't talked about it. But I do wonder if that creates anything or that does anything, because your heart is like, at least I know it's just an organ, but it feels like it's the soul of your body, like the soul.
100%. And the other thing that's interesting for me is that it's sort of like grave robbing at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah,
the heart, you're right. It's a muscle like everything else, but it truly is what kind of keeps everything going. So, without sounding too sing-songy, that your heart does kind of lend itself to, if you're going to take somebody's heart, first of all, you got to be a freaking madman to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Temple of Doom, but it's amazing to me that, first of all, the gall of these people that did it, but just knowing that they have something that sacred, and then all of a sudden having it impact their family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know.
It's probably just
it
something
could
that
be
happened.
coincidence.
Right.
I don't know. But it also did happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't necessarily go through it and say, well, it has nothing to do with it. It could very well. And if you want to take a chance on stealing, a prized possession like that happens to be somebody's organ that could very easily have a haunted attachment to it, be my guest.
Right.
Because you're probably not hanging on to it, and these people didn't either.
But, a lot of people do that with saints that they believe in, right? And maybe they thought it would heal something. So what I was thinking about is like maybe their family already were naturally predisposed to heart problems or something.
Sure.
And people will steal things off, saints and different things, or little pieces of clothing.
Yeah.
They pray over them. They want that because already something is not going well, especially health-wise. So maybe someone in their family was not doing well health-wise. They stole it, and then they just happened to die of heart attacks, and it's all coincidence. However, I mean, we don't know.
No, you
don't.
But,
that's not too surprising that they stole something of a saint, because a lot of people do that. They'll take little, and they, wear the saint's pins on their shirts, and even in San Javier, that we did the episode on last year, I mean, they had, that what is it? It's just kind of like a statue of the saint.
Similar. It's sort of an effigy in a
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
but they think how much they prayed over it and
Oh,
put their hands
constantly.
on it,
Yeah.
and they did this and that. So
And that's very well known to have.
especially in
Yeah.
Catholicism. So that wasn't too shocking to me that they did it, and it had to do with probably something was going bad in their life or
Mhm.
health-wise in their family. So
And if you guys are out there and just for sheer guess that you're listening to this, hey, send us an email, info@gxparanormal.com. What the hell were you thinking? You can send it anonymously. I don't care. I would just love to know what actually happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. So that's pretty much all we're going to talk about, upstairs. I mean,
Mhm.
the church is just beautiful to
Yeah,
look
it's
at,
enormous.
so, but those are the two main things we kind of wanted to touch on. But now we're going to go down into the crypt.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to show you the video. We're going to start it now. It's showing us walk down the stairs, walk down into the crypt, and we're walking to a certain spot where we're going to stop, and our tour guide's going to tell us about things.
Right. And those of you listening on audio, of course, you
Mhm.
can always check out the video.
Right. Yeah. So we're doing that. We're going to show that, and then we're going to stop talking and let you listen to what the tour guide has to say. And there's some pretty interesting historical
Very
things
much
that,
so.
he needs to talk about. But what I want you to pull out of this clip is if you can listen and you hear Logan do a sigh that I know very well. It's his when he feels something sigh.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit later, watch Chris, because something happens to him, and you may not hear him if you're on audio, but if you're on video, you will see him and see his
It's pretty
reaction.
funny,
And then,
actually.
so we're going to play it now, and then we'll talk about it.
Now, any questions, feel free. If anybody has any questions, feel free. That's what I'm here for. Deepest, darkest winter, 1689. James II, the Catholic King of England, fell to his knees right there.
Wow.
And received Christmas communion from that chalice there. 7 months later, he would be embroiled in what was known as the War of the Three Kings. So James, the Catholic King James, William III, William of Orange, King Billy, who had been invited by the Protestant Parliament back in London to come to Ireland from the Netherlands and usurp the Catholic King. Irish history gets damn complicated. And last but not least, a little matter of Louis XIV over in France. For a whole host of reasons, the tectonic plates of European power collided on this small island, and the whole bloody thing played itself out an hour and a half's drive north of Dublin on the banks of the beautiful River Boyne. The Battle of the Boyne, July 1690.
I mean,
The history's interesting.
yeah, the history's amazing.
But he's getting chills or something because his hair must have been standing on end on his arms. It's hard to tell. You can't see it because it's too dark.
Yeah.
But he just keeps looking back at us like, oh my gosh, can you see this?
I
Can
know.
you see this? Can you see this?
And he locked eyes with me again, and he's just like, look.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. And there were definite feels.
Man.
So I'm behind you when we first walk in, going down the stairs. But my significant thing that happened is I was just taking pictures. I was like excited to go down there. I get to the archway that you walk under to enter the crypt. As soon as I stepped under it, my stomach dropped. I got super nauseous, like somebody had punched me in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got really dizzy, and I had to step off to the side, and I had to grab the stone wall. And I was like, I had to stop there for a couple of seconds and breathe. I'm like, what just happened to me?
Yep.
It was really weird. I never felt anything so strong hit me that hard. And then, I just kept walking a little bit, and it finally kind of dissipated. But I was like, and I told you about it a little bit later,
Yeah,
I think.
you did.
But it made me stumble so much that my shoulder hit the side of
I
the wall.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure. I don't know if it's just well, we're going to talk about something else here that I found a little bit later that I didn't previously know, but maybe just so much of the energy in that space, it's all kind of in the area. And when you finally cross over into it, it just kind of all hit me at once.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I can come up with. But yeah, that was a significant experience.
Yeah, taking a breath because I can remember that sensation. For me, it was like when we walked down there, and anybody who's ever done, I'm sure most of you have done this, but when you start walking into a pool, let's say you're going down the steps of a pool, getting into a pool, if you're not freezing your butt off, but if you're slowly getting in the pool, you get that slow down and that heaviness of your legs trying to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I started having that where I'm like, my feet just did not want to keep going. And then it just felt like this really weird kind of cobwebby sort of, it just felt like a lot of webs that I was kind of going through. Like I was breaking into something.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, I mean, I could feel it. I mean, I looked up, of course you don't see it because I'm the one running the camera. But when I look up, I'm looking to see if I'm like walking into cobwebs. Now, granted,
It's very clean down
it's
there.
incredibly clean, and there's
Yes.
constant tourists going up and down this thing. So there's no way that's happening. But in my mind, I'm like, I've got to be walking through a huge cobweb, and I wasn't.
Yeah. And I will say through the entire, I didn't feel like that the rest of the time, but I always felt on edge walking through there, like just at high alert.
Yeah.
Like my body felt high alert, just like kind of, and it was kind of chilly, but not cold.
No,
down there.
It was Irish chili.
Yes, Irish chili.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So that I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I felt it very strongly, and yeah, I will never forget that feeling because it hit me pretty hard. But what's interesting is we're going down there, and we've got a few clips here of our tour guide telling us about, but I want to focus on this one right now because we just talked about our experiences. So he's telling us about this story, right? Now, I don't know what time period this is, but there's a time period that Dublin had really strict drinking laws, okay? And the pubs they closed around midnight. That's not the case now,
Right.
but they did, okay? So the original crypt keeper, okay, got this idea to open basically a pub in the crypt.
Yeah.
Okay? And it worked really great all summer, and nobody ever, found out that he was doing this. Now, when the weather got cold, though, it got too cold to do that, so he basically closed it, right? So the very next year, since he did so well, he's like, oh, I'm going to do this again. So he operated this all after hours, all summer, and he was going to do the same plan. As soon as it started to be winter, he's going to shut it down. Well, the last night of the operations for the year, he locked everything up nice and tight and left the crypt until the following spring. Okay? So when spring arrived, he opened the crypt to get everything cleaned up, to get ready for business. And when he opened the door, he was pushing on it. It would hardly open. And there was a skeleton lying against the door of a
can you imagine
human.
what that smell would have been like? Ouchtown population, bro.
Now, around the skeleton were smaller skeletons of dozens of rats.
Yeah.
The remains of a soldier's uniform lay chewed into bits among the man's bones. And apparently, the man had been a soldier at nearby Dublin Castle and had abandoned his post the last night of the bar's operations the previous autumn to go drink. And at this time period, there's still coffins and sarcophagus and stuff down there. So, I mean,
it's a crypt.
Yeah, it's a crypt. They're using it as a crypt. Now, they're just assuming he got really drunk and passed out or something like that and didn't hear when everybody was leaving and they were shutting the door, okay?
Right.
And so you can imagine he probably woke up. It's pitch black in there, can't get out, finds his way to the door, and that's it. And he probably dies of starvation. And then the rats.
God, I hope it's that way. I mean, none of it sounds
And I hope
great.
it didn't happen before he was actually dead. But now, apparently his regiment at the castle put out a warrant for his arrest as he was considered, he'd went
Just
AWOL,
slightly,
basically.
Yeah.
He was found, obviously laying up against the door, but he was clutching his sword, which is what they have on display in the crypt. They've got, two swords, which they found the second one later in a weird way. But the one sword was what he was actually holding. And so we'll put that picture up here. I don't know. But what's interesting is people hear pounding on the door, residual pounding, and like muffled type calls coming from inside the crypt's entrance when the door is shut and locked.
Yikes. And hello, wow, that's awful.
Yeah.
You know, you would expect somebody who passed in such an absolutely awful way to probably still be pretty pissed about it, you know?
Yeah. And the fact, and then we heard the story on the tour about the guy dying, and I just assumed he died, back in there somewhere. If he passed out, he probably just maybe he,
Sure.
overdosed on alcohol and he died back in the crypt somewhere. I didn't realize till I found the story later and found more information about it that they found him lying up against the door.
He was trying to get out.
Which is where we crossed in to get in, and I got that immediate poof.
Right.
So I don't know, obviously I'm not going to know whether it's because of him passing away there or if it's just all the energy that's down there, which it's probably both, both.
Yeah.
But I just, it kind of hit me a little bit when I was reading them. I'm like, oh my gosh, because it was immediate. Like I took one step over and it's just like, boom.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, not just the fact that it is a crypt and that obviously had,
Tons of
and tons of
bodies,
bodies
yeah.
in there. But yeah, I've been in other crypts before, and I've been in some places where
Yeah.
you didn't get that first immediate reaction that, you're walking into the caverns of, the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
It was a very weird feeling.
Yeah. So it just kind of validated my feelings. Like, what if I felt him? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. That's the story.
It's one of those personal experiences like we mentioned that
Yeah.
just, we don't get any proof, but for a fact it happened.
So this next clip, we're just gonna play this clip because it's interesting. There's some interesting history here. And what's cool is if you notice the name of the man, which we thought was pretty cool. And there's also some, he speaks a little bit about how many bodies may be buried in the land around the church.
Yeah.
So pay attention to that. So we're going to play that right here.
We know up to 10,000 people have been buried in the immediate environs of this cathedral. The vast majority of whom would have been buried in paupers' graves. Nothing particularly sinister about that. It was just in times of famine and pestilence, of course. It was imperative that people be buried immediately, if not sooner. Let the truth be told, down here was exclusively the reserve of the clergy and the ruling class. Of course, Dublin Castle, the bastion of British power in Ireland, literally just down the street. Equally do day tours, highly recommended. But I would say that they say the same about us. So, now there is one exception down here, and this is Henry Matthias. He's not buried here. He was lost over the rail of his ship, the HMS His Majesty's ship, Enterprise, a mere 10 days before the Enterprise famously navigated Bering Straits. He never lived to see the day. Now, chances are the man was better off dead. If you note the year, it reads 1849. Had he have returned to his native Mayo on the west coast of Ireland, he would not have believed his eyes. The bonds that held society together had now completely, totally, and utterly collapsed in what modern historians generally do regard as the greatest humanitarian catastrophe of the 19th century world. Ireland is, and will remain throughout my lifetime, throughout my children's lifetime, the only country in the world where the population was greater in the 1840s than what it is today.
Okay, so that's a lot of people, and that's just a guesstimation. That's a lot of people.
When you think about all the places that we go to, and you think about the potential of energy and the potential of, just just like I said, the sheer amount of people and bodies and mourning and all these other things that have happened within that area, how this place even operates without, ghosts coming back and forth.
Oh, I know.
In my mind, for some reason, I know this is hokey, but I think of the Haunted Mansion tour in, Disney, where there's just in that ballroom thing where there's just ghosts flying around everywhere, because there is so much that has happened in these, whatever you call it, catacombs, crypt, whatever you want to call it. And I would imagine Paris is probably the same. Someday we'd like to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the sheer human experience that happened there.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about that area is when I was looking all around, I mean, there's the Dublin Castle and there's some other churches, and they've got tons of haunted stories. So, I mean, I love May's famous quote.
Yeah.
You want to
Go for it. Go for it.
You can throw a rock and hit a ghost in Ireland. She told us that. I don't know. It was, I think,
day
on
one of the right away.
One of the first podcasts we did with her, and then she repeated on the trip.
That's right.
But you can just pick up and throw a rock and hit a ghost.
It's
which
true.
is, I mean, very true. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we just can't see them or hear them or know they're there.
Right.
But I would guarantee, I mean, it's just thick with history. But that number, wow, that's a lot of people. And that's not that big of an area. So that
No,
means the
it's
church is
not.
on top of them probably.
Yes.
And
maybe buildings around it.
oh,
And,
Karen, it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this next part, so there is a sarcophagus down there, and it's really interesting, and it's open, so there's nothing in it. But the cover of it is a Norman lady. But what's so cool is at the bottom of it, and it's hard to see, but I got a picture of it, and you can make it out. But there's like a little dog curled at her feet, and so she had her dog buried with her, which is really sweet. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then he goes on to show us a very, very important part of history, which we're going to show you right here.
This is the Liber Niger, which is Old German, I believe, for the Black Book, right? And this is open on 2 of the 5 leaves pertaining to truly, truly one of the greatest documents in all of history. Magna Carta, Runnymede. Brought to this cathedral in the year 1301 from Bristol, England. Of course, you know that. With an error margin of 9 months, they date this back to 1260. I can safely say you're now looking at one of the older copies of Magna Carta to be found anywhere in the world.
So they have one of the earliest copies of the Magna Carta.
It's pretty wild.
I didn't expect that.
No, when you think about, the country that we currently live in, that's just slightly an important document.
Right. So if you don't know what the Magna Carta is, it's also called the Great Charter, okay? It was a 1215 English document forced upon King John by rebellious barons, establishing the revolutionary principle that the king and government are subject to the law, not above it. It guaranteed fundamental rights like due process, trial by jury, and protection from arbitrary imprisonment, serving as a foundation for constitutional law, the U.S. Constitution, and democratic ideals worldwide, symbolizing liberty and limited government. Yeah. So seeing an early copy of that right in front of us, that was super, super cool. I love that part.
Yeah, I mean, that is about as much U.S. history that you can get, and to find it
in Ireland in a crypt.
I did not know that was there. Maybe some of you knew that. I don't know, but it took me back. So I'm like, what in the Sam? Is the Magna Carta here?
Right.
But it's pretty cool to see up close.
Yeah, it was. So we definitely wanted to include that part here.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's basically because we basically took a tour. But to experience it was, I mean, just it's gorgeous looking at all the architecture, being in the crypt and seeing all these. And as we're talking, we've been putting up some of these pictures of what's down there. They've got statues, and there's so much history. And our tour guide was amazing.
Yeah, he was.
He was
really
amazing. Cool. He made it fun. He's a very funny guy, and even he tried to relate it to where all of us were from, because we had several people from the U.S., several people from Europe, other places in Europe, on the trip, so he'd be like, "Is anyone here from here? Is anyone here from here?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, this links to this, or this
Right.
links to this in the States. So that was really cool of him to do.
Yeah.
It made it more personal. It made us more interested.
It really did.
Yeah.
And, you know, we labored on this particular episode, guys, to be completely transparent because, you know, we're not travel bloggers. It's not really
No.
what we do, but, you know, we're like, we didn't really do an investigation, but there were those personal experiences
Mhm.
and they were important.
Right.
And we felt like not only was it important to share with you guys, but, you know, who goes to Dublin without going to Christ Church?
Not many people.
Not many.
I wouldn't think. Yeah.
So it almost has to be included in anything that we cover in Ireland. But yeah, guys, it's one of those where you definitely, if you're there, you got to go.
Got to go. Yeah.
I mean, skip something in order to go to this if you have to, because it's important that you go there. Because you're never going to see anything like that again.
No.
Well, the likelihood is that you probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really cool. So,
yeah.
And it does have some very interesting haunted and paranormal history.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're never going to get to investigate it.
And the oldest crypt. So where else
and
are
the
you going to
oldest
find
crypt
that?
in Ireland.
And trust me, you feel it. You
Oh
feel
yeah,
it.
you feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed it for sure.
Right. Now there is something before we let you go that we want to talk about.
That's right.
We've been waiting to say something, but it's out there now.
It's out there.
And we are going on another Secret Ireland tour in October.
Yes.
And we are so excited for it. This time we're going to be joining Ryan O'Neill.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, sir. We're coming.
So if you have watched the shows, you know, like this one was about the haunted Ireland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haunted Scotland.
That's right.
We're going to Scotland. So it's gonna, you know, we're gonna go some of the places that were on the show, but other places that were not. But this will be taking place on October 1st through the 9th of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you want to go check it out and look at it, you can go to www.secretirelandtoursllc.com. There is a tab that says Spooky Tours 2627. Click on that, and then you can go down to Ryan O'Neill's Haunted Scotland, and then it will tell you all the places that are on the trip.
Guys, it's amazing.
It's amazing. I am so excited.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to try to get registration done by February 10th, so try to do that. I know that's short timing.
Let's
but
sell the heck out of this thing.
Yeah, you just
go.
You just need to go, because if you've been, I know there's only 2 episodes now that are out, but I promise you will not be sorry about it. And Ryan is amazing. He's an amazing investigator.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, he's been on the show. I mean, you've seen him on the show with Chris. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, and we are so excited. But some of the places I'm just going to mention that are on there: Stirling Castle and Jail, Bannockburn House, Blackness Castle, the place Castle Mingus, which I'm really excited about. Culloden Battlefield.
That's gonna be amazing.
I am over the moon about that one. Glencoe Massacre Site, which is a big one. And I mean, there's a lot more than that, but you'll just have to go and check out the website. So if you're even interested, like even this much, you need to go look and see what's all involved. It's very affordable. There's payment plans. You don't have to put all the money down. You just put down a little deposit to hold your space, and you can get ready to go in October.
That's right. And you can hang out with us 2 lunatics while we're there.
Yeah. Yay. Right. We're not the draw. We know this.
No, we're not.
But you know, it's just going to be amazing. And there's going to be, I know already some of the people that are going to be going on the trip. It's going to be another great group of people, and we are just so excited about it.
And you guys know who you are.
Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Guys, you got to go if you can. I know things are tough. Times are rough. People are strapped, but you only get this opportunity once in a lifetime.
It's Scotland.
And it's Scotland.
It's Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could pick, I can't pick any place better in the world than Ireland, except for Scotland.
No.
They're both up there, at least for me. And it's going to be great.
And you're in great hands.
Yes.
I mean, Ryan is, if you don't know his group, Haunted Scotland, first of all, stop what you're doing, go check it out, because they're amazing. And the stuff they get and they're just so
down to earth.
They're down to earth, and they take time. They're very careful about their evidence. They review everything, very down to earth. It just, do yourself a favor if you got within your mind to go to Scotland. please do it with this one.
And of course, May hosts a great tour. I mean, everything's taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything. You just fly in, get picked up, get on the bus, and they take you.
Yep.
And you don't have to worry about anything if that's what you choose. We always like to do some stuff beforehand.
Yeah, we take
and
some
after,
extracurriculars.
Might as well. You're there, right? But if you don't want to do that, you can just, it's so easy. You don't have to really think. You just enjoy. So please look into it. All the information's right here. And we're going to be, trying to advertise this a little bit more because we want more people to join us. It's just, no one should miss it.
Make her have to get 2 buses.
Yeah.
I mean,
3.
3.
4.
Yeah, let's get them all.
I don't know if Ryan wants that many people
sure.
to
Ryan's probably
drag
like at this time, all right, Logan, stop. But seriously, guys, thank you so much. We had a great time at Christ Church Cathedral. And yeah, check out the tour with Ryan.
Yeah. And we will be back next week with another castle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
See you next week.